Well, I believe the beginning of everything is trust, right? So the team needs to trust you. And the team, I'm talking about my two teams in general, the local guys in every site. I mean, everything together. It's a lot connected with trust. And the other thing which I do, and this is actually I can start to saying as it's like a magic sentence to succeed leading people is about spend your energy with your team mental health.
We've been waiting for this podcast for a long time, Jennifer, hoping to have Fernando on. And in a way, like it made my expectation higher and it was just blown beyond that. What did you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you had said, this is one that I've been looking forward to for quite a while, and it definitely did not disappoint. You know, in the conversation we've had with Fernando, it underscores exactly why I do what I do. I don't know if I can speak for you that way, but this is exactly why I do what I do. Like, this is what makes me love manufacturing. People like this who have this just voracious curiosity and just incredible levels of empathy that are trying to use, they are using technology for exactly the right reasons. It's so fun to unpack this with Fernando. This is a great episode.
It's phenomenal. The level of stories, like there's several times in the middle, like I didn't expect you to answer like that. Sometimes you just kind of know and it goes a different place. Yeah. And some people might even need a tissue box for some of these. And then there's an appropriate, awesome level of nerdiness and like the whole cocktail. So, anyways, let's not hold people back. This is a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Well, we're excited to welcome Fernando Guedes to the podcast today. Fernando is a global manufacturing engineering manager at Aptiv, where he leads not one, but two global teams within manufacturing engineering, the manufacturing technology team, which defines process standards and KPIs across more than 10 countries, and the equipment controls development team, which designs customized equipment solutions for advanced manufacturing. With more than 33 years in electronics manufacturing, from his early days as an electronic technician at Grundig to engineering leadership at Delphi and now Aptiv, Fernando brings a rare combination of technical depth and global strategic insight. He's a Six Sigma black belt, Shannon journeyman, and lean manufacturing trainer who has taught more than 1,000 hours of workshops across topics like quality systems and leadership development. In today's conversation, we'll trace Fernando's journey from working directly on SMT machines to building global frameworks that scale excellence. We'll explore how he blends lean principles with real-time data, how he equips his teams to design from scratch, and how manufacturers can stay aligned and adaptive through workforce shifts and technological change. Fernando, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for the invitation. I mean, very, very proud to be here. And actually, that's a perfect day because next week I'm going to start my vacation. So the smile is going to be bigger. So I'm going to be more relaxed. So that's perfect.
It's a good time.
No, it's so good to have you here, Fernando. And people don't know who are watching this show, but we've been like chasing you to get you on the show because you are just all over the world doing amazing things, and so it's an extra privilege.
Well, I'm sorry for that. I mean, we changed this like I don't know 6-7 times, and it's not cool, but it is what it is. Oh, sorry about that.
Not at all. It's representative of the hard work and the reality of what you do, which is what we want to dig into. So, and I mean I think that's why people like watching this podcast and listening to it, because it's special to get to sit down with someone like you who's usually doing all these things. So I want to start out, let's dive back to the beginning of your career. So you began as an electronic technician, an SMT machine expert at Grundig, and you spent over a decade working directly with equipment. You know, later on now you're global manager. But like if you go back to those first experiences, like how did that firsthand experience, you're repairing, you're operating, you're understanding machines firsthand, how does that shaped your early career and how you lead global teams now?
Well, probably I should start explaining a little bit of my story.
Yeah.
That will probably help answer the question. If not, we'll come back. So when I was 15 years old, so I was just a kid. It was yesterday, but I was a kid. I was invited. I mean, I was 300 kids getting application for this training course in Grundig. It was the German company. So that company started in 1963 in Braga. Well, I was not born, of course, that time. And they were teaching the kids. I mean, every year they will pick according the skills, whatever. That was like an exam you have to do. So they will pick. When I did my application was about 300. So you did the application and they choose 12. And those 12, they will learn 3 years in the company as electronic technicians. So that means I started with 15. After 3 years, I will be 18. And then I will be officially on the age in Portugal to be a formal worker for the company. So that those 3 years, they were very intense. So it was like half of the day was electronics, practical on the theoretical way, mathematics, Portuguese, English. I mean, like a school.
Wow. Yeah.
But at the same time, because I was still, kind of willing to learn more, I was still doing my studies at night. So after this, so it was 8 to 4 or 8:30 to 4:30. So after that, I still went to this normal school from 6 to 11.
Wow.
And this was done in 3 years. So I was 15, about ninth degree or grade in the school. So that means after I finished this, I finished the school, I was ready to university. So this was the very beginning. So of course I was doing technician job on the beginning as a technician, repairing the bad radios. It was radios that time, car radios all time with the tuning by hand and all this stuff. Very cool. So after that, of course, 3 years, doing this, as coming to your question, is a learning of the real life, right? Is a learning of people's behavior, connection between machines and men and women. It's like being on the show floor. It's not about the machines, right? It's all about the environment. It's all about the connections you have. So then you start to see the concerns of how people see machines, how they see life on the work, of course, how technology, it was technology at that time still, right? How the technology was at that time. How I was thinking already how we can do to be better in terms of helping people. And that definitely, all these, I'm just telling you the first 3 years, right? So that experience was just the kickoff for the remaining story of my life, which I will explain maybe in the next questions. But that was I would say the beginning. And your question was how we connect this, right? So that's pretty much what I'm saying. It's like learning by doing it. I'm not saying everybody has to go through the same experience. I'm just saying that for me was very, very important because it gave me the right tools, right, to do the things as I'm doing today. Again, I will explain more, but just for starting points, this was my comment. Yeah.
It's such a good story. I know you, and I've known you for several years as this global professional who knows all about IT and OT and convergence and machines and everything. But yeah, that's like I don't know. These days, it's like everybody's talking about missing those kinds of programs like you just described, where you were hybridizing school and at age 15 to 18, like directly repairing. So that's a cool story to hear. I think that's the kind of stuff people are all saying now, like, why aren't we still doing that? So it makes sense.
It's fantastic. Yeah, no, I have a sister who actually is very involved in some of the programs here in the United States in trying to grow some of those programs back and get those back more mainstream for us. So it's really interesting to hear that. And so I actually want to jump on that a little bit, Fernando. I think we've heard you say growing by doing is your professional path. And I love that because I've said a million times, I kind of grew up at this company. I kind of grew up in this experience. I kind of grew up in that role. I think I'm still growing up in roles. So to be fair, but talk to me about that a little bit. What does that mean to you? Maybe tell me first what that kind of looked like with joining then Next Delphi, and starting to really rise through engineering leadership. What did that look like for you?
I can answer with a continuing of the story of my life. So at that time when I finished that course, I was a technician, and then of course I was looking to the future, and I was very, very young. I was like 18, 19, and then I was like, well, I think I have to do more than technician, right? I mean, it is what it is. I'm not trying to diminish a technician. I'm just saying my mind was already ahead of that, which is fair enough, right? I mean, everybody has to follow their dreams. And I went to the university, so that was the next move. So the thing is, when I went to the university, there was no night shift on the university. I was like normal time. Today, on those days, there is we can go to the university in Portugal at least during the night shift, or at least from whatever 6 p.m. to midnight, something like this, right? But at that time was not possible. So I was studying, I was working, and I was studying at the same time. So because I couldn't do everything at the same time, so I moved to the night shift in Aptiv. Sorry, I mean Delphi at that time was Grundig becoming Delphi. And I'm not what I'm talking. I'm just on the move, right? So Delphi was bought by Grundig was bought by Delphi. So I was on that move, and I asked them to move to the night shift. So I was working from 11 to 6, and then from 8 to whatever it was at university, because it's a normal schedule. You have classrooms all day, and I was going to university. So it was tough. I mean, this is going to what you are saying, learning by doing. Yeah. So I can tell funny, not funny, but at the end I see it now as funny. So I was still living with my parents, and at that time I was so tired that once a month I leave at Friday, I work to Saturday in Delphi. So in the morning I was arriving home at around 8:30, and I will tell my mom, hey, today is the weekend, I'm going to sleep. So I will sleep in a row once a month, more or less, from 8 a.m. on Saturday until Monday morning, without waking up, like one shot. So wow. Again, I'm not trying to say that everybody has to suffer or go through those things, but this for me was important. I mean, it gave me the internal strength that I needed, right? Because you need this. You can motivate yourself, or somebody else can motivate you. In my case, I did it, and that was all the learning I got. If you can imagine all this, I mean, of course, the work environment was still there, right, in my mind, and I was compiling everything. Well, I have to be fair. So university, at least the electronic classrooms, they were pretty easy for me. I mean, I got a huge background from Grundig times. So it was pretty much easy to go. But then, of course, I had the other class, mathematics, whatever it was. All the other classrooms, they were need to study more. And of course, I had to do it. But that is how I'm considering what you just mentioned, that I'm putting on my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I know that answers your question, actually. I have to ask that.
I have to say that might be the first time I've heard one of my colleagues say that the EE classes at university were pretty easy for them.
Well, just at least the electronic, right? Electronics, it was. And mostly the practical, because they were theoretical and practical. So on the lab, I can tell you, I was even helping the teacher, because I got a huge background from Grundig. I mean, I was learning 3 years, right? I was a pro already. I could do almost everything with a microscope, oscilloscope, everything. I could do everything like nothing, right?
Yeah, I think that just underscores why these programs are so important in developing the next workforce. I mean, that you just explained exactly why. I think it's fantastic.
I actually agree, and I think, again, I said it already twice, I'm going to say it again. I'm not even close to diminish a technician role, or if it is a cleaning or whatever it is. I'm just saying, when you go through this, then you can set yourself and you say, well, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with my life. I like what I do. And you are a good professional. Perfect. I mean, the company likes you. That's perfect.
Yeah.
But that is just again, a set of tools that I gained. And that was my toolbox that I'm still carrying with me.
So as you were talking about the university there, something that there's kind of this golden nugget on your LinkedIn, Fernando, where it talks about how much teaching you've done.
Yeah.
And it's something I've never got to ask you in the course of our industry relationship doing work in manufacturing, but it says I think in your description of your LinkedIn that you've logged more than 1,000 hours of teaching technical and leadership topics, which is significant.
That's,
And yeah, I mean, so I want to ask you more about that, because today many manufacturers, they have this dual challenge of losing seasoned professionals while bringing in newer talent. And I also, in your last response, I liked the way you talked about that you kind of suffered, and you were like, not everybody else needs to suffer. So I think you have this awesome mindset that comes across of like, you did it a specific way, but maybe other people are going to do it in a different way. And you clearly like have this heart to give and to teach. So like, say a little more about that. And from your perspective as a teacher, well, I mean, talk a little bit about what the teaching is that you do, and then also like what are the biggest challenges and opportunities in teaching people and upskilling them.
Yeah, of course. I actually have a couple of interesting stories I will tell you about this. So of course, again, same idea as I'm saying. I mean, it's my mindset, right? My life mindset. You have to look for more, right? If you want to. And that's what I did. I mean, I was like, okay, I'm on this stage, I'm learning this, I'm in university, where I'm going to go then, right? I finished my university, I moved in the company, different position, but I was still looking forward. I was like, what? I need to do something else, right? And of course, at that age, I was still trying to gain some of my extra money to buy a car, whatever it was, right? So, and it was some, so now we're going to jump like 5 years. So my university degree was done, was 5 years, electronics. I was a formal engineer in Grundig at that time. So good position, good salary, I have to be honest, very well respected in the company for my job. But then, I was looking to that, and I felt the need to be more in communication. So I was always challenging myself. So how can I improve? How can I be more empathic? How can I, even if I was good or not, it doesn't matter. I want to be better, right? So then I heard about this, classroom that you can gain some money. And of course you can learn, because if you teach, you're going to learn, right? So I went to an application, and these guys, they called me and they said, well, okay, you can teach. It was electronics in the beginning. I was actually like electricity. But the funny story is the following. So unfortunately, at that time in Portugal, maybe it was the same everywhere, there was some kids, they were struggling in the school, normal school, and whatever is the reason, right? Because there was no care in the house. I mean, the family was destroyed. I mean, there are some difficulties, not dumb kids. It's just because they didn't get the luck most of us got, right? So they put these kids all together. Unfortunately, that's what I'm saying. Fortunately, it does not exist anymore. So they pick the kids, they put in the classroom and say, hey, now you guys are here because you are lower than the normal, and you're going to learn electricity, whatever that means for the kids, right? Electricity is like a mountain, and it doesn't mean nothing. So I'm talking about kids between 15, 16, 17, from very difficult families, destroyed families, some cases. And when I went to the application, I went to the interview, and the director of that school, he told me, well, this is not easy. He explained me about the kids. I said, well, I was very young, right? I didn't knew what I was about to face. But I got it, right? I said, okay, I'm going to take it. And it was unbelievably difficult. Oh. So I can tell you, one of the kids, for example, he was arriving to school every day with the police. So because it was in like a kind of a jail for kids, right? So the what I learned from there, and this is the most important. First, you have to give an opportunity to everybody, right? So those kids, they were like a normal people, but most of them, to be honest, they were just need some care. I mean, when I got there, I was an alien, right? I was like, what is this guy doing here? And they were very, very difficult, always making noise. All the other teachers, like English, math, they were complaining, I cannot teach, this is impossible. So what I decided to do was first day was like hell. I couldn't do nothing, right? So second day was like, I have to do something different. Not second day because it was twice a week, but next time. Yeah. So I got there and I'm going to forget electricity. I'm going to do some games and apply electricity on the games, right? Let's do it, because otherwise they don't care. I mean, why? How can you convince a kid his life is terrible just to learn electricity? Jesus Christ. So I started to do this. And one of the things I discovered is like, if you are on the, whatever is the environment, but this one specifically, you have to find the energy on the room and the most important person, the influencer on the room, right? Because if you identify the person and you relate with that person, then you gain the classroom. And luckily, because I was very young, I have to assume I got luck. I identified that kid. His name was Diogo. So I started to talk to him. He was just in front of me. I was sitting on my chair and my classroom teacher seat, and like 15 or whatever, 16 kids. And he was just in front of me. And when it was very noisy, blah, blah, I just go and tell him very, very slowly close to the guy, said, hey, Diogo, it's very noisy in the room. And he stand up to everybody, hey, shut up. And that's how things goes, right? You have to learn the environment, who is the leader, who is the follower, how is the energy on the room, right? And then, and just to finish, because it's a long story, I can talk one day about this.
That's a good one.
I was still traveling, right? And we will not believe this. This is crazy. So I told the kids, hey, I'm going to travel. You know, hey, where are you going? I'm going to US. What is US? I said, sure, man. I draw a map on the, I'm going here. Okay, so I'm not coming for 1 week. Okay. And I was in the hotel. When I was start to travel, and I saw these, the pens they offer in the hotel. So I picked one for each of the kids, just for fun, right? I didn't knew the impact of this. I'm telling you. So when I arrived to the classroom, I said, hey guys, I brought one souvenir. They were crazy. Oh my God. So short, long story. At the end, one of the kids was holding the pen until the last day, and he told me, I keep this, I never use it. Why? Nobody gave me a present before. It was my first present. So just imagine what you had to deal with, right? I mean, this learning in terms of teaching was like unbelievable. But it was amazing. And again, now this was the first experience, was starting from the hell in the good way. And then I was teaching Six Sigma behaviors in terms of on the sociologic path, because I got also training on that. But that was my, I would say, most amazing experience in my life in terms of teaching. Was the first one. And then again, it came the other 900 hours. But this was the beginning of my let's say my Pandora box that I opened in terms of communication. Because if I went through that in terms of emotions, in terms of needs that you communicate, because I'm telling you, those kids, they didn't care about nothing.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this just to finish, like 4 months after I control all the kids in the good way, of course, we got this monthly meeting with the teachers, all the others together. And they come to me and said, what are you doing? They are saying they like your classroom. And the only explanation I gave them was like, I'm not forcing them to learn. I just do some games on the classroom.
Yeah. And
whatever they learn. Because you cannot force them. It doesn't work. Because forced, they are already there, right? On the classroom. So that was I had 1 million stories with these kids, but it was an amazing learning. Amazing.
Thanks for sharing that.
No.
That's
like
Andrew, a movie scene there.
Yeah, right? It's interesting, Andrew, as I'm listening. Andrew and I talk a lot about how important it is. What we do is so coupled with the idea of capturing the expertise and the experience of people in manufacturing and making sure that we don't lose that, right? And I'm listening to Fernando talk, and it's how fortunate we are as an industry to have people like Fernando who have, like in his words, grown up in this industry, and they have incredible experience, but also just that empathy and that's what makes good leaders. It's just phenomenal. And it makes me realize how important it is for us to work alongside experts like you, Fernando, to be able to capture this. This is phenomenal. So let me actually jump on that a little bit. You talked a little bit about applying some of your Six Sigma methodologies. As you applied the Six Sigma and the Shannon methodologies to your global operations, Think about going forward then as some of the tools and the digital tools, the data platforms, now AI, becoming more integrated into manufacturing. Talk me a little bit how some of these technologies are enhancing or challenging the traditional problem-solving frameworks like Six Sigma and Shannon, and how they're applied on the floor.
Well, that's a great question. I don't think those tools are. Well, let me say it differently. I don't think we should not use the tools anymore, but the speed is completely different. So the methodology, whatever is Six Sigma, Shining, whatever it is, right, in life. I will just talk overall, but now specifically for the Six Sigma and Shining. It's like an equation, right? You put the inputs there, you expect the result. It's the same, but now the result is going to come much faster. So you don't need to go, 3 days, blah blah blah, doing paperwork. You don't. I mean, you just get the mindset. You keep open mind. That's very, very important. I didn't mention yet. That's for me a golden rule. And then you just flow with the speed, because now we know the speed is different. I mean, I know this is kind of, even some people, they will say, well, but the speed will bring stress. Well, that's the balance we have to keep, right? Because you cannot fight against the speed things are going on. Because if you fight, then you're going to be also stressed. So you have to go with the flow, right? So coming to the point, definitely, I think Six Sigma is a wonderful tool as an example, but you have to use it and apply it on those days, on the things we have to solve today, and for sure they have to be faster. And the data collection now is 1 million times faster, right? I mean, those days will take weeks sometimes to have data, and even how accurate the data will be, it was a big question mark. So now we have that benefit. The data is much more accurate, much more faster, which means you can have more data, you can learn more, you can use AI to help you. But again, it's always you do this with a team, and if you need to know your team, and this is coming from my explanation about that classroom that I just mentioned briefly. You have to understand the environment around you, and your team need to see the flow, right? You need to see our pace, you need to see where we are today in our days, and then, well, these are the tools, Six Sigma, Shining, whatever it is, and we have to work with them. That's I don't think there is another way. I mean, I don't think there's going to be kind of different tools. I think the speed now is definitely much faster, and accuracy, of course. That's very important. The data now is much better.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if this is one of those where we should ask ChatGPT what it thinks about the effect of these. You care if I give that a shot real quick? Hey, Chat, I have a question for you. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. I can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead with your question whenever you're ready.
Okay, so we're interviewing a wonderful colleague of ours by the name of Fernando Guedes, who is a global manufacturing engineering director at Aptiv. And we asked him the question about how artificial intelligence might be reshaping traditional continuous improvement frameworks like Six Sigma and Cheyenne in modern manufacturing environments. What's your response to that? What do you think?
Oh, that sounds like a really interesting conversation. So if I were responding to that, I'd say that AI is definitely adding a new dimension to these traditional continuous improvement methods. For example, with something like Six Sigma or Shine-in techniques, which traditionally rely on human-led data analysis and problem solving, AI can come in and automate a lot of the data crunching. It can spot patterns and correlations that humans might miss, and it can help teams implement improvements more quickly. So basically, it's kind of like supercharging those tried and true methods with a bit of modern AI magic.
All right, thanks, Chat. Well, I think she got that as in a more simplified version of what you said, Fernando. But yeah, kind of. I mean, I agree with you. It's effectively that, Six Sigma kind of provides the structure that still stays. And then these other tools, just like you said, increase velocity and accuracy. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Sorry, this is just a joke. You're playing the AI's voice there. It sounded, if anyone's ever watched Ted Lasso, it sounded like, I think her name's May, the like the bard woman there, and then she just like, so my mind just pattern matches and then coming out with the, really specific response. That was just funny. So Fernando, I want to, so yeah, right. I love that answer about speed and how things are changing. So, okay, we followed your trajectory, Fernando, from like technician yourself, and then getting engineering and being in these amazing companies, Grundig into Delphi, and this teaching stories, the giving of the pens, the recognizing the key person in the class, and then seeing these methods speeding up. So today you lead two core teams at Aptiv. One's focused on defining global process standards and KPIs, and the other, I understand, is about designing equipment from scratch for specialized needs. And so you get two different teams. You've got operations in more than 10 countries. And so now, you're trying to build strong, aligned teams on just this massively different scale. Talk about that, not to mention in automotive. Aptiv is an automotive tier 1 where accuracy and precision and quality are so important. So I guess talk about that. Like, how do you do that? How do you build those strong and aligned teams, like given that whole landscape?
Well, that's a very, very nice question and very tough at the same time. Well, I believe the beginning of everything is trust, right? So the team needs to trust you. And the team, I'm talking about my two teams in general, the local guys in every site. I mean, everything together. It's a lot connected with trust. And the other thing which I do, and this is actually, I can start to saying as it's like a magic sentence to succeed leading people, is about spend your energy with your team mental health. So if you spend this time with the team, analyzing and how they behave, how they feel, is going to consume energy from you, of course, because then he has a kid, the kid is sick, or the dog passed away. I don't know. You don't get only the good things, you get the bad things. And if I travel, I go whatever to Mexico as an example, and I'm there, and I know almost everybody by the name, even the operators, which is a small thing but a big thing. If you know what I'm saying. So if I go to the shop floor and I say, "Hey, Antonio, how are you doing?" It brings the communication to a different level immediately. Mm-hmm. But of course, it brings also, as I'm saying, it takes energy from me, because let's imagine I go there and say, "Hey, Antonio, how are you doing? How is your wife?" And they tell me, "Well, my wife just passed away." So it's like, you have to take this with you. And then I go to my hotel after the working day because I'm traveling, I'm in US, and I have to digest all this information, and I read myself, and then is consuming you, right? It's energy that you have to release. Yeah. But at the end of the day, that investment in terms of energy and time, it's going to give you much more, because what I need from them, if I need something from them, they're going to be there for me because they trust me, I trust them, and all the things connected will help me to lead, understand the cultural things, each team. And what I'm doing and coming to my teams now is trying to teach my guys to act like this, right? Of course, everybody has his own personality, but at least I have to give them the tools and try to teach them what I know, right, about this. But well, I think the most important is some people, they don't identify themselves, the weaknesses they have, right, by themselves. So they need some help. If they don't, it's also my job to kind of, tell them, hey, you might need to this and that. So another thing, well, for example, when I finished all of this, the electronic course, blah, 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 then I was on the industrial shop floor, and I was like, well, I know a lot about electronics, but I don't know about industrial engineering. So I did my master in industrial engineering, because all the time you cannot stop learning. Of course we learn every day, right? I'm talking about book learning. You have to learn. So I did that. And this is what I tell my guys. You have to look forward. It's okay if you don't want to learn more. It's okay. But you need to know that you don't want to learn more. You have to understand where you are, right? And this is the way I'm trying to lead the team. Being open, honest, create this trust, and take care of them mentally is very, very important. Because just giving things to do, it's okay, but they need to understand why and if they are on the right shape to do them, right?
For some reason, I thought you were going to answer that differently. I don't know. I thought you were going to go into methods of scale, and then instead, like you kind of answered with that same like direct personal interaction with people, and how you found like the capacity in yourself to scale that, and that's pretty awesome. And also I appreciate that you kind of gave that portrait of yourself at the hotel at the end of the night processing it, because like you really care, and it takes a toll, right? And it's I don't know, that connected with me. That's like something that I feel too as a leader. It's like the empathy, it makes you a good leader, and it also makes you really feel the things for your team and for others, and so it's not like a fun thing per se, but it's meaningful, and it makes it effective, right?
Correct. It takes I don't know other way to explain this, but it takes energy from you, right? It make you feel weak at the end of the day. Then next day, of course, you recover, you go again, and you fight again. That's okay. I'm not complaining at all. I mean, I'm doing what I like. I mean, I'm just saying it's not only good things. I mean, if you want to know the name of somebody, truly know the name, it means you talk about it. You talk about life. And when you talk about life, good things come and bad things come, right? Like, it is what it is. You cannot just choose the good things.
Yeah. So it's interesting, as you were talking about that, I had this thought that, as leaders, we, there's only so much we put you have to come to work every day. You have to do this with a certain amount of energy, right? That's just what makes, effective leaders. And the reality is honestly, it's like you said, when you were in the hotel kind of reflecting on it, kind of takes it out of you. I feel that, because there's only so much energy to go around at the end of the day. And your energy can get taken in some of this, knowing your people and thinking about, having that empathetic side. Also, like the infrastructure, just the operational, like we're talking about data and these systems and getting to that level. There's so much energy that is just consumed in creating these systems of operation for your people. So your energy, if you can get some of that taken up by some of these tools, if you can get, AI to start performing better in some of the area that's taking your energy on the data piece, then now data really can start to perform. Data has always been the glue that holds your teams together, right? At the end of the day. So now your energy can kind of get taken up, can take some of that, so that we can become better leaders, and that empathetic side can actually have more place to drive our teams as well. So I see that balance being really important. So let me talk to you a little bit.
Jennifer, sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to underline that again. It's like, it's so important, right? Like when you bring data and AI technology into the picture, it can either become a huge suck of energy, right? Where it's like, and then people, they can enjoy it sometimes because they get into their nerdy side, but it's actually really destructive. It can like become this suck of energy that you don't have time for people, and then on the other hand, it's like you have to get it to work and take the lift of these things, so you have more time for the people and the use of it. And it's not a subtle difference; it's a huge difference, right? And so.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew's heard me made the joke that, like, I don't want AI to come in and take my creative side. I want it to like do my dishes. Like, take away that dull stuff. Like, and I really, really, especially like as an operations person in the company, I really want it to, like I said a minute ago, I need it to be that glue that holds my teams together, so that then my empathetic, that side, can have more of a place to live in the company. So let me talk to you about given that capability is becoming more and more acute all of the time with the systems, and now as AI is on the scene, how do we ensure that the collecting of that data and the utilization of the data actually does drive real-time improvements and not just reporting? Where do you see this next frontier as AI is really coming on the scene? Where do you see AI and some of these digital tools allowing the teams enabling them to work faster? And we talked earlier about accuracy, really building that confidence, the speed to determining issues, and then the speed to being able to make resolutions, like building that confidence. Where do you see that coming on the scene effectively in the next little bit?
Yeah, well, I fully agree that sometimes, most of the times, unfortunately, when we present KPIs, we collect data, we show them whatever on the shop floor, on the computer, on the desktop, whatever it is, some people, they still think this is a way of controlling them, right? What they are doing, the way they are doing things. And that is wrong. And I try to explain this to my guys and to everybody I work with. So that is just the way hopefully now AI is going to tell us even better and faster what we have in hand, right? It's just showing you the data. And it doesn't mean it's wrong or right. It doesn't mean what you are going to do with that. The data is not telling us I'm wrong. Oh, my efficiency is 50%. Oh my God, I work so badly. That's not what the data is saying. The saying is the data is saying that we have 50% opportunity for improvement. That's what it's saying there, not the other way around. I mean, it's kind of, I really try to tell this, and I teach my daughter, I have a daughter, 12 years old, that it's okay to fail, right? It's okay. You can fail. You are going to fail. I already fail. I will fail many times. The important thing is when we fail, we understand we fail. Let me say this on not literally, but we cry a little bit on the couch. We are disappointed. Next day we go again. So what I don't want my team, I'm really strong with this, is like, guys, you can cry one day or even 2 days, but then we go. I mean, you cannot just keep crying because the data is 50%. Because I don't like it, because it's saying I'm bad. No. It is what it is. It's done. You digest it. We go. You need what? You need more training. We need more training. You need my help. What do we need, right? So coming to what you are saying, what I tell my guys is like, even I tell myself, because I don't know what is expecting me with AI. This is still unknown what things are coming, right? Some of the things we can see they are coming, but 3, 4, 5 years, I don't know. But the good thing is we can be optimistic and we can prepare ourselves with more training, with more information, talk more, just use the tools. Don't fight against the tools. That's another problem. People, they fight against what is coming. Oh, the past was the best of the world. The past was a learning curve, was learning. You learn with the past. So now we cannot live anymore in the past. We have to live today and prepare the tomorrow. That's it. And AI is going to help us. Hopefully, it's going to be good for that. I believe so. Again, going much faster on the things, much more accurate, and we can do more. We can improve our processes. Now coming to industry, which is our conversation about. It doesn't look like, but it is. Now on the industry, AI and actually some tools we are implementing in the shop floor, they will definitely give us a clear picture what we do. Perfect. And now we have to decide what to do to improve. That's it. Not to point out you are wrong, you are right. I mean, this is for me the most important. It's not the guilty game. The guilty game is a killer in everything. Because then everybody, like Andrew, you were saying,
yeah.
If I'm not reaching the numbers and the pressure is just pressure by itself, they're going to lie about the number. They're going to lie about the number. They will say, well, no. OE is 89. Okay, good. And then it is not, right? So
yeah.
Just understand the numbers, work with them, just lead with the failure. That's it. No, don't be afraid.
And I think that's just the point, right? I mean, you just said it's not about this is you're wrong or you're right. And I think the reality is, as leaders, we know that however the natural inclination of our people is however we've used data in the past is how they're going to expect us to use AI going forward, only, faster. And so, if you're leading from that perspective of, look, it's here to help us, it's here to guide us, it's here to teach us. It's okay to fail. It's important to fail. We learn from that, right? Building that system and that environment of trust in your organizations does break down a lot of those adoption barriers when you're trying to bring in these tools that they know are incredibly powerful. So I like that. That's a great point.
One of the things that's emerging with AI, so you talk about how it's like we can't be afraid of the numbers, and we all fail, and you see a number and then you improve it. It's like, back to school, like getting a test. Like everybody wants an A, but you get a B or a C or D, and it's like, okay, like imagine you didn't even know which problem you got wrong. It's like, it was this math, it was this reading. That's what I need to improve. And then the thing that's emerging with AI, which is interesting, is it has the potential to help us solve problems, and AI also will only know where to solve a problem if it's clearly pointed out. It's this KPI that's wrong and this KPI is fine, and that guides and triggers these agents. So Fernando, you just said that so I'm going to challenge you, because in your last answer you were like, no one knows exactly where it's going to go in 3 to 4 years. So I want to ask you, where's it going to go in 3 to 4 years? No, knowing that no one knows for sure, and you just kind of disclaimed that. But maybe grounding this in electronics manufacturing, especially where you're an expert and you have one of the better guesses and lenses here. Like, what are you seeing based on that global perspective? There's new things going on in inspection systems and AI agents, and there's humanoid robots being talked a lot about in the news, and other kinds of AI applications, and not only AI, there's other stuff. But like, what are you seeing that you believe, from your current view, will have the biggest impact over the coming years?
Well, definitely the two big ones will be AI and automation. I mean, I think that's pretty much clear. We see it already coming, right? So AI automation altogether means, I don't know, I'm just dropping a number. Instead of 2 operators per line, 3 per line on SMT, you may have 1 per 5 lines. I'm just saying. So looking to this and imagining this is coming, we need to reshape. We need to reshape what we are doing and the way we people are working on the environment, that instead of 100 employees, they're going to have 15 or 10, right? So we need to start to think how we are going to act accordingly on this. Not just look and, just be sad and cry because they're going to lose jobs. Okay, the good things, we know it's coming. So if you know it's coming, we have the benefit that we can think ahead. If it's coming tomorrow without knowing, it's a big thing. But in my belief, this is, I think it's even not 5, maybe 2 or 3 years. What I'm saying in terms of automation and AI, 2 or 3 years, industry is going to change a lot. I believe a plant like the one, well, I visit most of them, but the one I'm physically today, which is in Braga, Portugal. So they have, totally 1,000 employees, but just on the operators, let's say 600 or 700. On the shop floor, taking out shift leader managers, maybe 700. So 700, in 3 years, I think they will be probably a half. That's my guess. Somehow. So we need to rethink how we are gonna. This is not only me and you and the industry. It's going to be also all the governments and everybody involved, because otherwise it's going to create a lot of panic on this. But for Aptiv in specifically, we are already applying. I mean, some of them tools. We are going to go. We have to go, because if you don't, you are going to stay behind. I mean, that's how it is. And when there is this always human being on the shop floor, on the working place, but there is the numbers behind this, right? And the numbers is math, right? You have to work with the math. So another thing I did, and coming again to my life, so I did this master in industrial engineering, and then I was start to talking with because I was already leading one team, and these financial guys, they were kicking my butt. I was like coming with weird words and the crazy numbers. I said, well, I need to learn more about this. And then I went to do my MBA. And after the MBA, now I can sit in the table and I can talk with them, right? So again, coming to the same thing, you have to learn and learn every day. So what I was saying is, you have the people and you have the numbers. You cannot lie. The numbers need less cost. And less cost means not only people, of course, means optimized process. If the optimization lead to less people, well, we do it, right? But that's how it goes. But it's, 5 years, I'm just saying we are going to see a lot of factories with less and less and less people. Yeah. So people need to think about this and learn how other skills they have to keep working and keeping their life, right?
Yeah, massive change of skills, reskilling, shifting of labor, different jobs. And so your answer was automation and AI. And I like that, because like traditional automation, the robot arms of the world that go directly against the direct labor. And then AI is like the robotic arm of the brain, right? It's automating knowledge work and affecting the indirect labor. Any just add-on comment on that? Because I think that's one of the new pieces, is like automation's been going on with direct labor. It's continuing to accelerate. And now we're adding AI, which is, doing pieces of maintenance and quality and planning and that side of work as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like your perspective on that, Fernando. Like, I like the way that you look at the challenges. You have a lot of experience here. You look at the challenges and you have this kind of this hopeful, I kind of it's like that, like problem solving. I know how to root cause this. I think we could look, it looks like this going forward kind of approach. I kind of want to tap into that a little bit. You've had, when I did the intro and said that you had 33 years of experience, I figured you must have started when you were about 8. I was close. You said you started when you were 15. So, so we look back over the last 30 years. I mean, this industry has changed so much. And yet I think I hear a lot of people that are like, yeah, it hasn't changed that much in my factory. It has. It's changed a lot. We just talked about that. Some of that is, some of the high levels of automation that we're starting to see everywhere. Talking about, the amount of data and the digital connections that are happening across the factories. As you look ahead over the next decade, Andrew asked about the next 5 years for AI. I want to pull back from just the technology for a minute. As you look ahead over the next 10 years in manufacturing, what gets you excited about it? Where do you think it's headed? When you think about, the manufacturing leaders that are going to start following in your footsteps and looking back over that, how do you help them prepare for this future? What do you see?
Well, that's kind of linked with the previous one. Well, I personally like technology and digitalization. I mean, I like technology because I'm probably an engineer, or because that's the way I am, right? I love technology. I think the best way to be ready is what I just mentioned. Is keep open mind. I mean, don't just cry every day about your life. I mean, just be positive, and the will to learn every day. That's very important. Don't just get stuck at you get stuck at 1 day, 2 days, and then we go, right? I mean, don't get stuck at forever crying because your life is terrible, right? And if you feel a weakness in your daily job, you go learn. That's a goal. If you cannot do it by yourself, just ask for help. I mean, raise your hand and say, hey, I cannot move forward, I need help, and we do it. So I have a lesson. I have a lesson in my life. So when I wake up in the morning, every morning, right? If you don't feel a bit excitement and some tiny butterflies in your stomach, if you don't feel that, it means you are not in the right job. It means you have to move, or a different position, or a different learning, or learn more. I mean, you have to feel this every day. That's the fuel, right? That keeps you moving every day. If you don't have this, I don't think you can look ahead. You have to feel this. Even myself, sometimes I was waking up and said, well, I'm not feeling it, so I need to move forward, and we do it. Well, unfortunately, some people, they can't, and they got stuck in. That's going to be a problem for them, of course. And there will come the stress and all the negative things and so on. So looking ahead is just, I mean, we just keep learning. I mean, I'm keep saying, don't stop learning. Just go.
That was. I was like, as you were both like telling amazing stories, cry on the couch. I'm like, I'm gonna drop a tear. I'm not a crier, but those are truly good stories.
Yeah,
so.
It's that those moments were actually maybe it was a little bit. I'm a little bit more, I mean, it's expressive, right?
Yeah,
I express myself. You can see my emotions, but those was it was tough. It was tough with these kids. It was. I can talk one day about those kids.
Yeah.
But it was incredible. I mean, I will never ever will say I will, if I could skip it, I will skip it. No, never. Because it's also a life learning, right? And it gives you a lot of things to learn. In this case, to my daughter and to my friends about it, right? Because many people, they complain about simple things, and those kids, they had zero. It's unbelievable. I don't know how I end up in that classroom, but I think it was kind of a coincidence. But it was amazing.
I think it definitely influenced the kind of leader that you became.
I agree. I actually agree with that. I agree.
Yeah,
it's I will. Well, now we are off, right?
Yeah.
We're off. Yeah.
Yep.
Because this is a more tough story, but I will tell you this. So some of this, I mean, it was not perfect, right? Some days, even with this leader in the classroom, not leader on the physical way. It was just the leader. All the other kids, they respect this guy. But sometimes even this guy was not enough, right? Everybody was making noise, blah, 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 and they make excuses to get out of the classroom. And some days I was not in my best mood. It is what it is. It's life, right? So one day, this is unbelievable. So one day I was in the classroom, a lot of noise, and can I go to the toilet? Yes. Another one. And I was getting stressed. Then I tell the kids, you guys, nobody will leave the room unless you break your arm. I was making a joke, right? I was like, no, nobody leaves. Next day, one kid came with a broken arm. And I said, what happened to you? I don't want to talk about it, blah, 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 blah. We went to the break. One of the kids told me he broke his arm just because he wanted to go to the toilet next day. Just imagine what we are dealing with these kids. Wow. This is crazy stuff.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
That's unbelievable.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. I want to hear.
They
more
like
stories.
it.
Yeah.
The good news is the kids, they really like me, and they were enjoying it. And at the end, they were very sad when I left.
Yeah.
And they were concerned because I was not following the rules in the classroom. I was like, they were saying, hey, you're not teaching. We are doing games. I said, it's okay. We can keep doing games.
Yeah.
But at the end of, I think it was almost 2 years, believe it or not, most of them, they learned something about electricity. And for me, was the best reward.
Yeah.
Even girls, I had girls also there, not only boys.
Yeah.
Well, one girl, this is the last thing I'm going to tell about this. So one of the girls, every classroom, we started and she fell asleep every day.
Oh.
I was like, well, 1 month, 2 months, and I say, hey, do you need something? Do you need help? And she was shy, right? Oh, I was sleeping. I said, it's okay. You can sleep if you want. Are you tired? And she told me, I am, because my parents are divorced. My mom works as a nurse. I have to take care of my five brothers and sisters. So I don't sleep. I said, okay, so let's do the following. I'm finding you another room. First half an hour you sleep and then you come. Oh, but the director was not allowed. It's okay. I will solve that. So just imagine these things.
Wow.
It's fantastic. It's heartbreaking and fantastic that,
All right, here come the rapid fire questions, Fernando. Number 1, is there a book, movie, or TV series that inspires you when thinking about the future of manufacturing?
Well, if I have to pick, I will pick a book. And I will pick one of the first books I read when I was a kid was The Little Prince from Antoine Saint-Exupéry. So I think the message, for me, at least when I see now, of course I was a kid, I couldn't understand everything on the book. But it's kind of what I'm talking here, which is be ready to leave your comfort zone, right? Just go. Just keep your mind as a kid, right? Believe everything is possible, and then go. That's it. So I will pick this Little Prince. That's it.
Love it.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. All right. Fernando, which leader or innovator in technology or engineering do you admire the most or greatly, and why?
I tend to not have any idols or something like this, but I admire a lot of persons. If I have to pick one, there is 1,000 of them that I really like because of what they did. But maybe Nikola Tesla, because what would be the world without wireless, right? So I will pick this guy.
Yeah, that's a great one. Fantastic.
Amazing innovator. Doesn't get enough credit, I think. What piece of technology outside of manufacturing has had the most impact on your life?
Well, a lot of them, but I have to pick one. I will go back to my beginning in university, and the thing that helped me a lot was basic appearance of the emails, because at that time it was still the floppy disk, and we're doing some programming, the floppy disk at home, and then when I arrived to the university 1 hour later, because I was driving 50 kilometers, sometimes it didn't work, so it was erased. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to come back again. So email was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Okay, if you could instantly acquire a new skill or knowledge area, what would it be?
A lot of things, but I had this struggle even when I was in university was programming. I didn't learn much about computer science and programming. If I could just get a USB and load myself, I will load with some programming skills.
That's a good one.
Foreign to me as well, so I can appreciate that.
Matrix moment. In a few words, what advice would you give to young manufacturing professionals starting out in the field today? I've listened to this story and said, man, I'd like to end up somewhere like what you're doing.
That's a tough one. I'll probably say, just observe and listen carefully. I mean, be humbled when you are, whatever you are. Learn from the others with more experience. Don't be a smart ass. Sorry for the word. I mean, just be humbled and open mind. Learn as much as you can, and then when you feel you are ready, when the things are coming, just jump to the stage on the right moment and be yourself. That's it. You are going to succeed for sure.
That was a great answer.
Thanks so much.
Great
Fernando. This whole podcast was just phenomenal. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. Sharing.
Oh, I really appreciate the opportunity, and it was more than 1 hour. It was so fast.
Yeah, it goes fast when the stories are incredible. So
yeah, it was our pleasure. That was fantastic, Fernando. Thank you.